If you look at of course, we want to relate back to the US market because this is very relatable to the US market, what happened overnight in the S&P 500, especially if you look at the US market as of this morning. S&P 500 is quite red in that sense, right? If you look at the first one is Microsoft, down by 0.78% as of this morning. And of course, the news updates about Microsoft. As of this morning, OpenAI, the startup behind the popular ChatGPT, is reportedly in discussions to raise billions of dollars in the new funding round that could see it valued at above 100 billion US dollars. That is what the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday. And the funding round is expected to be led by the venture capital firm Thrive Capital, which is poised to invest approximately 1 billion US dollars. And tech giant and OpenAI backer, which is the Microsoft, is also expected to put in money. And of course, that is about the Microsoft. On Meta, if you look at the Meta performance as of this morning, down by 0.45% as compared to its peers under the Internet Content Information at the S&P 500. Meta updates in terms of their news. Of course, Meta Platforms faces a fine of up to 3.62 million US dollars after losing a lawsuit by Brazilian department store chain, which is called Haven, and that accused the social media company of accepting paid advertisements that fraudulently use their retailer's name to deceive consumers into paying for non-existent products. And a Santa Catarina state judge ruled on Monday that Meta had 48 hours to block ads that Haven did not contract and which mentioned its name and also its owner, billionaire Luciano Hang. And in the lawsuit, Havan said Meta profits from illicit ads without taking responsibility or verifying their legitimacy, leading fraud victims to sue the retailer. And of course, that is about the Meta. Google, next to Meta, basically down by 1.13% as of this morning under the Internet Content Information at S&P 500. Alphabet's Google said on Wednesday it has updated Gemini's AI image creation model and would roll out the generation of visuals of people in the coming days after months-long pause of the capability of Gemini AI. In February, Google had paused its AI tool that creates images of people following inaccuracies in some historical depictions generated by the model, drew flag from users. And of course, Google said it has improved in terms of the Imagen 3 model to create better images of people, but it would not generate images of specific people, children, or graphic content. And of course, the feature will be made available first to paid users of the Gemini AI chatbot, starting in English, and later roll out in the model to bring more users and languages. If you look at in terms of semiconductor, of course, the number one is NVIDIA as of this morning. NVIDIA was also in red, down by 2.10% as of this morning as compared to its peers. If you look at other counters under semiconductors, also facing the same red and downfall as of this morning in S&P 500. NVIDIA latest update in terms of news, NVIDIA's quarterly forecast on Wednesday failed to meet lofty expectations of investors who have driven a dizzying rally in the stock as they bet billions on the future of AI. Shares of the chip maker fell 6% in the after-hour trading, and of course much hinges on this outlook from NVIDIA, whose stock has surged more than 150% this year, adding 1.82 trillion US dollars to its market value and lifting S&P 500 to new highs by one counter alone. If losses hold, NVIDIA is set to lose 175 billion US dollars in market value. That is about NVIDIA. Of course, we want to look at Apple, who's going to have the launching later this month, and on the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Apple was down by 0.68% as of this morning for under the technology and consumer electronics at S&P 500. These are the blue chip counters at the S&P 500. Apple, of course, the U.S. appeals court rejected the University of Wisconsin's request for a new trial in its ongoing dispute with Apple over processor technology. The university had previously won 506 million US dollars verdict, but it was overturned by the Federal Circuit in 2018, and the court upheld a 2022 decision that the university could not introduce a new infringement theory after the initial trial. Of course, the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, or WARF, said sued Apple in 2014 over patent violations related to iPhone and also iPad chips, expressed disappointment, and is considering its legal option. And the case is Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation versus Apple Incorporated. That is about US market and also Asia market. Of course, we're going to look for the performance of these markets in the coming days to see how it will go in terms of the updates of the news from Asia markets and also US market.